Welcome back to Rock and Rattle Retreat. This is the first time we're building a house up on top of a mountain, and this is all off-grid. If you've been here a while, we are still building. Had a problem with the drone. It died. I don't know if we're going to get it fixed or not, but here we are out in the solar area. We got our 7 baskets down. We're ready to put up rails, but we can't get them. So this is why we call it rock and rattle. See that rock down there? We got to dig a trench so we can get the electric from the solar panels over to the house. And there's another rock. And of course the rock in between these baskets. And more rock. It just comes out of the ground. It's like somebody's growing it. Little icebergs, but they're big. Okay, let's put down the stabilizers, because we gotta dig a trench to put a conduit in to get electrical wires from the solar panels over to the house when we ever get solar panels up. I'll turn the seat around here on the backhoe. Yep, we only got one seat on this little tractor. It's got to go frontwards or backwards. And it doesn't have a swivel that you can just turn it around when you're sitting on it. Up we go. Okay, got to put you somewhere where you can see. Put you up here on the ROPS. The rollover protection, basically. And you can see one of the lights there. Okay, so you can see that rock down there. It goes off to the left, I am hoping, not to the right. And we will start digging. Hopefully. It's been dry up here. Really dry. Haven't had rain for a while. We need more rain. Always need more rain or less rain, but we go with digging. Man, we're not doing very good there. We gotta reposition once in a while, and of course you can't get very far before we hit a rock. Well, actually there's a bunch of rocks in there, but something of any real size here coming up. Pay attention. Can you tell how big that one is? Yes, real time here for a second or two. Probably more than a second. Reposition the backhoe. You gotta kind of lift up the back end and kind of move it with the actual stick so we get a better grip on this little bit of a rock down here. Get the stabilizers up there and see what we can pull out of the ground. Yeah, you call that a little bit of a rock. Up here, that's a little bit of a rock because the backhoe actually moved it. There are some rocks up here the backhoe will not move at all. Like that big rock in between the baskets. A lot of little rock. But you can tell that's why we call it rock and rattle. Because there's a lot of rock. And that's why we did not dig holes to put the stanchions in. Because if you come across one of these rocks, digging a hole, you ain't digging very far. Or you make such a big hole that you got to fill it back with concrete, and it's a lot of concrete to fill it with. You can look at a video on how we created those stanchions back there. Try to put it up in the corner. And then you can see the wood pile to the left. That's all got to get moved to put in the second row. And here we got another rock. Could you see taking an auger and hitting that rock? If you clip the edge of that rock with an auger, it would just pull that auger straight on down without digging out any dirt. Or if you hit it nice and square, your auger's going nowhere. But you can see little bits of rock coming out. Just digging along here, and you just pull out all kinds of rock. There's another rock. Alright, so here's what we got done at the moment. Got a trench, and then of course I got a stump there with my do not enter sign. Go around the wood piles, around these trees. Don't know if it's going to kill those trees or not. It might, and we're going to keep going past the wood mill and then down along the garages. And keep going, and then around the corner, and there you see the wire going in the wall. That's where we got to go in at. So I need a trench all the way around and all the way back. And here is some of the stuff, the spoils that we took out near the wood pile. I dumped them in the mule, came over here and dumped the mule out. Here's one of the rocks we pulled out. Doesn't that look like a small rock? And then I got a pile of them over here that I picked up while doing this trench. Yeah, that all came out of that trench. And we're not done yet. Some stuff came out of the trench and it's alongside that I haven't put over here yet. Okay, so we dug a little bit more. I got the trenching bucket on here because I got down to basically the shale fill and decided I didn't want to take out a whole bucket width of it. So we're using the trenching bucket to take out, get a little deeper. Because I went down to the rock layer, the blue rock, which is limestone. Basically went through all that with the big bucket, or the big bucket on the backhoe, and now I'm using the trenching bucket to go down a little bit further so the conduit will be not almost sitting on top. It'll be sitting down a little ways at least. Gotta move the tractor a bit, reposition. So if you watched my other video where I was going through the driveway with the trenching bucket, you could see it where I was digging out the trenching bucket and rock would fall in from the sides into the trench. Well, here it doesn't really fall in the trench because it's very packed down with this shale that's down here. And it's also harder to get out. It's harder packed. falls in a bit, but it doesn't fall in as much as far as I could tell. So I could do some pretty good digging once I get going. It's just real time is really slow. End is put the conduit in there, fill it back in with this stuff, and then put the bluestone on top of that. And then I'll probably put a little bit extra bluestone or limestone on top of it again, because it is a bump up from the rock to the actual garage floor. And I could put in a little bit more on top of the conduit to protect the conduit a little better. And all we're putting in this conduit is the wire from the solar. As you can tell, I did do a little bit of digging there already with the bigger bucket. Now we're going to flip this thing around and start trenching back. Because where the bucket is, the front end loader bucket, I've already trenched down. Now I'm just going to basically dig the trench out a little bit more in this area going across there, so that the conduit is a little more protected. Put the outriggers down. Can't quite reach the seat. Turn the seat around. Yeah, put you out here on the boom and see what we can do. Start digging some more. And even in here, I'm coming up with some medium-sized rocks. Okay, back out where the solar panels are going to go. I got a piece of pipe with a long sweep on there. That's 20 feet. Let's see where I end up. You can see down there, I got a mark. That should be, well, those should be where it should come out. And the next basket should be at the end. Not exactly sure, but we've got a lot of leaves in here now. Been sitting a couple days. Got to blow out all the leaves before we get the conduit in there and get any backfill on it. Okay, here we go. This looks like a better trench to put a conduit in. And then dig all the way around. Got to put in a long sweep elbow and an elbow to get inside. So that's what we have at the moment. We got our trench done. stay with us to get the conduit in the ground and the wire to come in and then solar panels to go on. So subscribe. That'll keep track of us. And we'll catch you later.